moral preferences about that child, but ultimately they're
according to you, Ryan. Yes. According to you,
and according
Ryan,
to them, right? Yes.
No, according
No,
so it's just
and also according to how the laws have worked for the past 50 years before Roe v. Wade was overturned.
You believe that women are the sole people, the sole group that can just provide value on people, and nobody else can, right?
No, not women, pregnant people.
Okay, specifically pregnant women, right?
No, it's women.
And trans men. I would say trans men can also get abortions.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. So I'll just even grant that. That's cool.
Okay, awesome. So you're pro-choice. Hell yeah, we got another one, guys.
Not at all. I'll grant that trans women or trans men or trans women, whatever, can get pregnant.
Yeah, I know, it's very confusing.
Why not? So where exactly? So they're the sole people that can provide value for people, correct? Yes.
No, only for in terms of the person that's growing inside of them, yes, but not for all people.
Okay, so only for that one. So
yes,
so
the one growing inside them, to be clear.
So therefore, whenever we get to the scenario where you could press a button and you could delete 60 pregnancies, all of them want to be pregnant, all of them want the baby, or one newborn, which one do you press?
I think that's a hard question. I would probably do. I feel like I would lean towards the newborn because there's way more harm.
It's just the trolley problem.
Yeah, I know the trolley problem is usually a pretty hard decision. Yeah, trolley problems usually
they are that. Yeah,
sure. That's why I gave like very specific circumstances in my trolley problem.
If you had a crystal ball,
in fact, the first trolley problem I brought up was one that I said would be basically an impossible choice. So when you say just the trolley problem, like you're saying nothing.
No, I did.
No.
Another Cody W.
You cut out. Well, it's good anyways because he got booted.
I gotta say, this is the first time I've seen someone else get booted for something that Ryan said.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, why boot Ryan or why boot Coach for something Ryan said? And shout out. I'm still mad at you, chat, because you still didn't make it in time and you still haven't made up for it. So Casual Crip sent 10. This keyboard warrior wants more. Well, we will continue to go, but we will continue to go with me angry at my chat. Some kind of wise guy sends 10 to keep it going. Also sends another one to keep it going. Alamo sends 10 late night content. And Blake the as well booting. Poor Coach. Poor Coach. All right. We can continue, but the chat, you are currently on L's only in the chat. You can only put L's in the chat unless you're sending a super chat. That's the only way as of right now that you're allowed to say something and have it actually stick. But otherwise, keep to your L's, please.
Yeah. So additionally, one other thing I think it was Storm and Mormon who was saying this earlier. It is true that person you were referring to said that they lied about the data or whatever. I don't know why they did that. I didn't think that far into it. But what I did do is find the actual data from Guttmacher. And apparently in 1967, there was an estimated 829,000 illegal or self-induced abortions. So it still was pretty common, right?
Oh, bullshit.
So
you can argue with the data, but I'm not gonna like. If you think they're wrong, you can go explain why. I'll listen in the back.
The data was fabricated.
So Ryan, in the case of the trolley problem, what do we do with the people who actually make a choice in the trolley problem?
It depends.
Okay, it depends on what.
I mean, like, trolley problem is a framework for like analyzing moral decisions, right?
Okay,
so, like,
yeah.
So you have to actually give parameters for it before you can.
It's actually a test. The trolley problem is not a parameter for establishing a moral decision.
No.
It is
parameters. No, I agree.
It is
I
a
agree.
test.
It's a test
that is
with
what
specific parameters. Yes, I agree.
No, it's not to see if you're a moral agent or not.
I know. I don't care about that.
It's a test to see whether you're a douchebag or not. If you're a douchebag, you're going to make it.
I don't think you understand the trolley problem.
No, it absolutely is. If you're going to choose between the one small child versus the 8 grown folks, then you are a douchebag. That is the test.
Okay, so the question. Hang on. No. Let me respond. Call me douchebag, right?
No, absolutely fucking not. This bullshit that you fucking sent me.
Yeah.
The fucking sources aren't even right. Goddamn sources.
How do you know?
Go back to what fucking Nayrol was saying. What the?
Why would I go back to what he says instead of Guttmacher?
No, he's saying the Guttmacher study goes back to Nayrol. Is what he's saying. Which
they're not citing it. They're not citing it.
Oh my god. Oh my fucking god! You are fucking retarded. You are fucking retarded.
Okay,
Wow.
well, you're a crybaby,
Cry more.
like blob man. So okay, whatever. Brick, you were talking about the trolley problem.
Trans
Yes.
the
Yeah, go right ahead. So
who's the
my
douchebag?
understand-
Who's the
my
douchebag in the case
understanding
where you're deciding whether it's your 8-year-old kid or 10-year-old kid? Who are you the douchebag if you pick one of them, or are you
if you
douchebag?
pick
Like, what's
one
the...
of them, yes, you're the douchebag. Yes, if you have.
So if you do nothing, you're not a douchebag,
Yes, that is essentially
and you just let one of them
true.
die.
You let them both die because it's not your choice. It's not up to you to choose.
Okay, so you don't understand the tribe.
They
The lever
literally
is the track is
They
already
literally did
the
this
plane is going
in
towards one of the
Germany.
kids.
They literally did this
If
in
you do
Germany
deliberate
during
action,
World
it
War One and
influences.
You'd want
Two.
to let them both die, and you said letting them both die is a bigger douchebag. Is that your logic here, Brick? I'm
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah, you making the choice, right? Is
Bro said
the
multi-track
bigger
drifting,
douchebag,
kill
yeah.
them both.
Because the assumption is that somebody else has put them on the trolley, right? The idea there is that you are having to make the choice, and they're sitting there saying, I'm going to hold a firearm to your head, and you're going to make the choice of who's going to live and who's going to die. The idea there is to find out whether you actually have any moral character at all. Now, if you make a choice, the idea there is that you don't have moral character, that you're putting more value on this life over that life when all life has value.
The trolley
Yeah, I
problem
think that's like your interpretation of the
not
results of the
making a
trolley
choice.
problem.
So hold on.
Actually making a choice.
Which one is more valuable to you, the 8-year-old kid or the 8-year-old kid?
Well, that's
Choose
what I'm
one.
saying. That's like an impossible choice.
Right, exactly. It's just as impossible as the 8-year-old kid versus the 8 grown folks.
Wait, sorry. My question wasn't 8-year-old kid or 8 grown folks. My question was an 8-year-old kid, your 8-year-old kid, or your fertilized egg is on the other track. That's the more interesting.
It's still the trolley problem. It's still the same thing.
Yes, it's still the trolley problem, and almost everyone would choose their 8-year-old kid. Is the point?
Well, okay. So with the embryo thing, I don't look at that as the same thing as.
Okay, that's fine. That's the main thing I was making a point of.
Do you
Like, it's
understand?
It's all down to emotional attachment.
1 second, Brick. This is why what you're saying doesn't work. You understand? Choosing to not do anything is still a choice in itself.
Yeah, I do understand that.
Mhm.
I do understand that.
Right. So you're if
That's
somebody's
the point of the trolley
doing
problem.
like this
Also-
isn't doing a neutral thing. Right?
My question is, do I have time to do any, mini, money, mo? Like, is that an option? Is there time enough for me to decide and do the any, mini, money, mo? Because there's often enough. Like, for instance, booting people from my panel, I don't like to be given choices, right? So when someone puts in the dono and they say, Sarah, pick someone and boot them, I make somebody else do it because I prefer the choice of no choice, right? It's much easier. I'm not the bad guy. I didn't decide. Like, nobody can blame me, so on and so forth. And it's great because they send donos to boot you guys off directly. I'm not the bad guy, right? I choose not to choose. And I think in a lot of
trolley.
I made the trolley and you guys are engaging in it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm the evil mastermind, right? But that would
I
be a
know
good
one hire. I think it was an 8-year-old child that actually looped the one track onto the other one and just thus defeated the trolley problem by getting everybody
goodness.
Get all the points.
I think I saw that video where the kid like put the tracks together.
Yeah, just linked it around like, oh, it doesn't matter which one you choose, you get both. Like,
right. But I think choosing not to choose is a choice. Let them all unfortunately go. And that's because no matter what, that's bad, right? But potentially they had a 50-50 shot at living or dying anyways. So it inevitably, you're just guaranteeing that 50% for all of them at that point.
Well, in the classic trolley problem, the side that either has like more deaths or like a greater outcome of deaths is the side that the train is automatically going to. So you not choosing to do nothing is intentionally letting more lives die. So a good example too that people use with this, you see a senior citizen drowning, and then 10 feet away from them is a child drowning. So do you do nothing, or do you choose one or the other? If that's your
This is why the Good Samaritan law is not a requirement. And actually, they've made it in some places where you can get in more trouble if you try to help and do more damage than good. But the Good Samaritan law is basically if you choose to, you can, but you're not held responsible if you choose not to as well. The law configures that in place because the morality and the questioning of should I help or am I putting myself at more risk or so on and so forth. For instance, even more so making that choice and having that choice live with you, the morality of it, the long ending of like, did I choose right? Oh, that kid grew up just to live on drugs. I chose wrong and now I'm just a terrible person. It was all my fault. I chose wrong. And then questioning your choices, all of these things, right? That could even be a question in place the entire time. Whereas if you're choosing not, I choose, I'm walking away. It is not my duty, right? It is not my obligation to save these people. I just happened to show up and there was a trolley and there was a switch and I just so happened to be here. I'm walking away from it. That's why the Good Samaritan law kind of protects people from not choosing to help, not obligating them, not demanding that duty.
And if nobody noticed, Sarah multiple times quoted the song "Free Will" by Rush just now.
Yeah, I guess the main thing at the end of the day is like I would think I feel like I would judge someone as a quote unquote douchebag, as Clay put it, if they were to like if let's say the trolley was going towards their 8-year-old and they decided not to pull the lever to move it towards the fertilized egg. I think I would judge that person personally.
Yeah, and just to clarify, I would absolutely expect you to be the douchebag. I would be the douchebag. I would be an asshole. I would be selfish, as Speakeasy put it.
Okay, yeah,
because like Speakeasy said, it's all about emotional attachment. You can do the same thing, right? You flip this around and you say, okay, there are 10 live children that, you know, even may belong to people that you may know. But then the person that is attached there is a female whose last 3 eggs are on the other side of the track. It's her last 3. It's the only 3 that she will ever have. And it's more than likely in that emotional state, most people would choose their own because there's an intention there to keep that over the others, even though they don't see them as morally different. The trolley problem is going to force them into a situation that they're likely going to choose selfishly. And the reason that problem exists is not to assign blame. Like, yeah, you could attempt to assign blame and say somebody's a douchebag, but it's not to actually figure out how to write law and assign blame to somebody on something. It's how to actually compare these moral quandaries.
Yeah, I agree. I think like when someone decides to, sorry, I'll pause. I'm gonna collect my thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to say too, because like the idea of saying specifically that it's to decide whether you're a douchebag or asshole. What I'm trying to do there is I'm trying to allow you guys to understand that yes, it is an exploration. It is in fact something that you look at and go, well, does it have real world application? Is it something that I can actually tangibly affect? But if it's not, then it's just a simple hypothetical, and it just becomes, are you a douchebag or not? And this is where I keep, hearing hypotheticals that are the trolley problem, and I'm like, why even go there? Let's stick.
Coder, I wanna ask you something quick, Coder.
Can you hold that thought? Because I actually remembered more or less what I was going to say. Like the reason I would go there is because I think there's a good reason that people do whether you call it just emotional attachment or whatever. I think there's a good reason people do value one life for the other, and I think that's a reasonable thing. And I think that we can make moral judgments where we can still value the life. I think it is still a moral preference, like to choose one or the other. But I think we make those sorts of decisions, and one case of making those decisions might be valuing the autonomy of the woman who's growing that child inside of them to not be forced to do that by allowing them to get an abortion. Even though that doesn't mean that you don't value that you have no value for the child growing inside them. It just means you have more value for the autonomy of that person and whether or not you want them to yield or be forced to yield their organs. I think that's where the moral relative question comes in.
Let me ask you something, Cody, because you said I would judge the person who doesn't move the train thing. Would you judge a woman if she was 9 months pregnant and she decided, I don't think I'm going to be able to deal with this kid financially. It's going to stress the hell out of me. I'm going to go have an abortion. Would you judge her?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I would.
Oh, okay. But you would still allow her to do it.
Probably, mainly because I'm not sure. Like I mentioned earlier, the abortion laws, as I understand them, are really poorly written. I can imagine a world where we have. I don't know what that legislation would look like, but I can imagine a world where we have really, really well written legislation that ensures that like women's safety is taken into account. Because there were people on this panel earlier who were saying they don't give a shit if the woman dies, and like whether or not she wants to yield her life.
Well, yeah, it's not. I don't give a shit about the woman dying. It's if she is going to illegal measures to try and kill her.
No, I know what you're saying. There were separate. I know what you're saying about that was your debate partner, but someone else on the panel earlier said specifically.
Well, he said it like that though.
No, it was the Christ Liberty guy, I believe, Chris Liberty or whatever. He was specifically saying, he's like, well, too bad. The goal of the legislation is to protect the babies at all costs, right? That's what he was saying. So he was implying that like it doesn't matter whether or not women might die. I think that's something people don't talk about enough.
He was pointing out that it would still be doing its job of protecting the babies, even if it was killing the women.
Yeah, exactly. Which is that seems bad to me.
Well, yeah, obviously, but this isn't what anyone that's against it argues for.
Well, but it's the people who are writing the legislation. That's what